This is a David Bradley chainsaw from many years ago. I think it was made in the 60s, but I'm not positive. A long story to this one. It was owned by a friend's father. He loaned it, the friend loaned it to another friend who was incredibly irresponsible. Could easily say he's the most irresponsible guy I've ever met. His name was Dan. That's as much detail as I'll give. Well, one thing I want to point out, everybody makes a fuss over 5G technology. And here it is from the 60s. It says right there, 5G. What's everybody getting so excited about? It's just an old chainsaw. This thing has got power. When it was given to me, it was missing the housing and the pull cord. Incredibly difficult to start. So it was given to me probably 20 years ago, and it sat around for a long time. And then I took it apart and cleaned out the tank and all the lines and the carburetor, which was all filled with goo from the 2-cycle oil and such. I used it a little bit for a tree we were chopping down in the backyard. Actually, we got somebody to fell the tree, but I was trying to get the stump out. It was always a pain to try and start it, of course, because the only way I could start was with an electric drill. And then again, I didn't need it for a number of years. Sat, moved a couple different places, sat some more, and then we moved here to Alberta, and the county has a landfill that allows you to pick up old air-cooled equipment and sprayers and rototillers and whatever. So I found an old seized lawnmower, and I took the pull cord off of it and the housing, thinking that someday I might put it onto this. So a few months later, I went to work, and I'll show you what I did. Back to old irresponsible Dan. The reason it was given to me was because this is all that was left of the pull cord. The original machine had a unit like that. You pull the cord and it would drop 2 pins down in here, and then you could crank it. So it got to be a pain trying to start this with a rope. Old Dan took it off the side of the road and got frustrated and left the pull cord and the mechanism the side of the road, never to be seen again, which made the chainsaw pretty much useless. So I took a chance with the old lawnmower that I was telling you about. Took the pull cord off of it and the pulley, and I found that I could adapt it onto the crank quite easily. I just had to file it out a bit, and on it went. So I made this ring to hold this. This one you pull and the teeth pop out. So that goes on there. This goes to show, don't be afraid of trying new stuff. This chainsaw is fantastic. When I got it fixed years ago, or got it going years ago, I sent the chain out to get sharpened, and this guy sharpened it. Supposed to be a professional, and fortunately I was given the owner's manual with it, and I found out the teeth were all at the wrong angle. So I've resharpened it, but that's going to be the killer. So this chain is quite unusual. It's very long, longer than normal, and it has a wider spacing. And it also has a thicker chain. I forget what that part is called, but the part that goes in the chain guide to hold it in place is wider than normal. Now, this is a man's chainsaw. A little too manly for me, actually. Quite heavy. It's hard on the wrists using it, but it will run well any angle. I'll show that in a minute. This is the chain oiler, so it's all manual. And that's the oil reservoir for the chain. And then the 2-cycle fuel goes in there. And the mix on this one is 16:1, not 40 or 50 like some others. And it says here it's a 360. And that would not surprise me at all if this was 360 cc's, because it certainly got snort. And these are very handy as well. Shove that in against the log and you can pry, and it'll just motor right through it. It's a manual choke, so sometimes it takes me a little while to get that right. There's a on-off there. This is the throttle lock for starting it. That holds it fairly wide open. I'll give it half choke to start with, which is right there. And I keep forgetting, you have to turn the fuel on. It's a manual fuel shut off, which takes a screwdriver. There it is. I have no problem using old stuff when it works. For a teardown and rebuild, see some of the above channels. Here's the old chainsaw. Some say it's made in the 50s. And we got a few visitors passing through, so you can see them there. The hens have just started laying. The rooster's very happy, I'm sure. And off in the distance is the tank cover for the septic tank because it froze up on us last year, and that was fun. So I just cut those pieces. They're 19 to 21 and a half or so inches long. I made them uneven on purpose. I didn't want it looking too neat and tidy. I wanted it to look like it was a bit of a bush league cover. And so those are all poplar logs that were cut by the chainsaw. We'll get some excess styrofoam, white styrofoam insulation from building projects, and I'll put those in there, probably line it first, put a 4x4 sheet over top of the whole thing. When it comes time to pump it out, remove the sheet and some of the styrofoam. Here's the detritus from the whole project, and there's the chainsaw. I'm pretty sure it was made in the 60s. Please help me out with a like, share, subscribe, or notify. Thanks again, and thanks for watching.